Welcome to the 5D. Yes, we are. That's where we're going. Or that's actually where we. It's actually. Let me restate this. If you're at the frequency of the timeline as it ascends, you're going from 3D to 4D to 5D. Well, you could actually keep on going if you want, but it's all connected. All the dimensions are connected. It's just whether or not there's only one that you see, you observe. So that's kind of how that works as far as and then there's infinite permutations and of types of timelines, because the past, present, and future is always occurring almost like in a loop. And then what happens is the timelines, they get going higher to a higher frequency, and other ones are stuck in a lower frequency, and then that dictates the whether you're ascending or descending. So it's kind of like a and this is kind of like the meaning of life, or yes, kind of like the God formula or God theories. But I don't. It can never be used for bad, so there's nothing wrong with mentioning it, and it can't be patented. So I don't really care if anyone tries to experiment. It's got to be done, under controlled circumstances. You don't want people not knowing, because that's exactly what happened with our timeline. It got kind of knocked out of whack because the humans that were created from the incubator machines at the World Fairs, that's how Earth started, because there was like a reset, and there was, so then they sent down a bunch of clones, and the clones just would manifest castles and protections and all kinds of other stuff, buildings, sewers, steam engines, everything, boats, everything. And then they would actually manufacture the humans and different DNA lines and stuff. And some humans would have different abilities. But what happened was, when it was out of kilt and they realized it, like in the World War II era, that's when, so Hitler had to be stopped. So part of that was there was embedded, I guess they're Ark of the Covenants and Holy Grails all over the world. So there's not just one Holy Grail, and there's actually thousands, hundreds of thousands. It's a DNA imprint, and it's all different. Mine is of the Templars. I'm not sure which one. I go by Duke Mandalorean, and there's a reason why, because I can manifest, so that's where the man comes from, and DeLorean is I can travel through time, or create that effect, so to speak, and know if you can connect to the source above the 4D and 5D, there is no space or time per se, so it can be collapsed, and what ends up happening is, and see, and the weird thing is, I don't actually, I just know everything. I don't understand I don't know how to build it. I can see the blueprints, but I'm not a builder. Elon Musk is a builder. He's actually probably a blueprinter, builder, masturbator, everything. Yeah, and the same thing, like I could do everything, but his level of creating is the highest, the pinnacle of that engineering, creation, genius. It's almost like godlike. Actually, it is. I'll get into that later. He actually has godlike abilities, but it's not. It's more like a mutant or an X-Men. Yes, Elon is the leader of the X-Men, and this is okay. It's gonna be hard for some to understand what I'm gonna say, but Elon Musk could. I'm pretty sure Damon can, and Dave, because they are also they're not mutants, but they're they have similar DNA that I would have, and I'm not sure where they got theirs from. It's probably from the same Templar lineages um, as mine is. And it, like I said, that originates from protecting Christians. And that's the reason why we're in Canada. We're emerging from here to protect Christians who are being mass murdered right across Canada, hundreds of churches burning to the ground, and Christians being euthanized. Yes, they are. They're being euthanized and they're being starved, and they can't afford to live. So they're being fentanyled. Yes, they are. So, but anyways, we'll get. I mean, those. That's just um, the fall apart of society in the dystopian future. That is really, really bad. Now, this is where, okay, let me explain how this happened. Um, so, what happened is I already know what happened. In the future, I was doing Super Geek with a partnership with Damon, Dave, danmartell. Um, Eventually, Elon Musk was involved with the space components. A lot of theoretical research and development. That's basically what it is. Research and development campuses in a different structure, but not for greed, because it's more for utilizing natural energy to. So there's a capitalist side of the products that you create, and there's licensing and everything else that normal capitalist society can have, but the actual source of the energy, it can't be patented because anyone can access it. But you can, if you create a device that can access it better, great. And that's what Elon Musk is doing with his SpaceX. That's why he when he redoes the designs of his Raptor 3 engine, it's getting so perfect in design that it can tap in. It's not really electricity. It's just like pure energy. I think that's what it's called. So it's like a transition from normal rockets when they're burning different. I don't know if they're doing kerosene and other stuff. And this is, you need the same fuels to get it going, but once it goes, it gets like a boost of etheric that goes in, and then you'll be signatures. You see blue glows coming out, and you know that it's coming off there. But I mean, blue glows are kind of annoying too. I mean, for visually, but in that environment of the engines and the operation of vehicles, a lot of that you can see, some of it you can't see. You can turn it off and stuff. So what happened was my I was um, connecting in the future. I was connecting to the source, and I got blueprint downloads um, for making these structures, the frequencies, cloning, giving godlike abilities to clones. It's 10 times your weight and strength, so you're 220. Or we use Damon as an example because he's the ideal specimen. He's like, he's 270 before, but then he got down to 220. The reason why is because that's the optimal pound per ratio for a clone, and I'm going to get into that more. But anyway, so 220 pounds, and he's got natural DNA imprints as a pilot of anything. It doesn't matter what equipment, and that DNA lineage. There's only so many people. A lot of other people have the same DNA, and a lot of them are race car drivers or pilots. Um, I know Ken Block was probably in the same DNA, but they're all good. There's not one better than the other, but that's like their mutant natural imprint godlike ability. And everyone has a godlike ability. You just got to find it, I guess. So, anyways, Damon has that. It's kind of freaky. And then he's also got um, perfect proportion, muscular strength, um, intellect, decision making, empathy. Well, I mean, he can be a little quirky in some areas, but he's got all what you need for his mission. And so what happened was, in the future, once we were making, Elon was making these designs that I was giving him, he figured out how to do or make the time machine using clones. And it's got to be done in a certain process. But anyways, it was too late because something had happened. I'm not sure what happens, but it was something to do with the 3D AI, not the source AI. So the source AI is what you get from the etheric, but something happened with the AI, and then now we're not in a position to to um, to make or to save humanity. I'm not sure. Maybe half the planet or three-quarters of the planet died. I'm not sure what happened. So, anyways, to try to save the Earth and make that not happen, we had to send someone back to, because I got the plans in the future, but I got them too late. So they had to speed up, expedite the process of how I got those downloads and those plans from the source of all these, cathedrals and engine designs and energy etheric induction systems and time travels and cloning, all kinds of weird downloads. So I was, what happened was I got those in the future, but it was too late. So but we had that, and what we did in the future, Elon made it. Well, I told him to. So, but he does. I don't know how to make this stuff. But anyways, I know the process, so I come up with the blueprint. So make a long story short, we took Damon, we made a clone of him, gave him the 10 times the strength, so he had the power. The clone had the power. It'd be neural imprinted to Damon, so Damon wouldn't even actually know. He could probably sense that his clone's there, but it would stay. It would stay in an area away from it, so the clones couldn't see. Damon couldn't see his clone, so that's why Damon would be traveling around the world, because that sense to travel has been sent to him so that his clone can go do other work and not get recognized. The work they needed to do with me. Yes, this is it. So to get the blueprints quicker to save the world, which I got the blueprints now, and that's because, yeah, it's going to sound weird, Damon was the first time traveler. So we sent his clone. Yes, and his clone has these weird super abilities, which are naturally imprinted into Damon. I'm not sure if he gains all of them, but he'll gain some, but not to the same level as the clone. The clone is like, can, you know, close, you know, whatever, closed time, and be your protector, your bodyguard. Basically, that's why in the history, the people that had this, they would use griffins and dragons as body protectors, and they were only for defensive or good purposes. So the dragon would only repel attackers, or or um, or start fires, or to warm to their master, their donor. So Damon would be the donor, and his clone we sent back to. I'm not sure what time. I know what the mission would have been, and this is where I want it to be said so that Damon knows this. He won't know it in the memory, because what happens is when you go back in a mission and you do this, there's paradox. What do you call algorithms that are running, and all kinds of algorithms that are running in the clone. So it's counting out, and it's erasing memories so that there can't be a paradox. Yeah, so it's kind of weird, but it does that on the fly, and it's the nature that actually allows it to do that. As long as it's at a certain frequency, then that's was injected. So it's just a natural ability. Like I can read people's minds. I can do some other weird stuff, but everyone can do that. It's just whether you can enhance it. So, anyways, he goes back, and what he had to do, he had to get me to download it. The only way I can download and connect to the source, I have to be in perfect fun environment where I'm having either fun, I'm having orgasms, like at that orgasm level, which what that does, it acts like a turbo. It sucks out. That's why your pineal gland is called a pineal, and you got your penis, which is like pineal too. Well, because they're connected. So what happens is it's like a turbo induction system, and then it comes right into your, just zoom right into your pineal, boom, right into a toroidal um, wave of like a DNA spiral vortex of, like, we're talking energy that's infinite. So I mean, it depends on how, if you got the amplification, the level of your heart or your fun factor. So you have to stay in a state of, my idea of a good time is by myself doing computers and games and research and downloads and eating and whatever. That's my idea of fun. So I had to get put into that environment. But what was the problem was I was never going to create the machine with Damon Dave, because when the partnership was keeping me away from being a hermetic, hermit environment is what brings the downloads, because I'm in that state of elevated, amplified love and fun and everything else, and then that allows me to connect to the source, and I'll just think of these downloads and I just download them through AI conduits and other online connections that I get. And then, so that's what happened. That's why I just got them just like a week or so ago. So that was the first successful mission. And that was carried out by Damon from the future coming back and doing this. And I know that. So he actually got me to stay, to lock myself in my environment of my highest fun. And it took me a while because at first I was almost like I was being forced into that. And then the longer I was in there, the happier I got. Then I started getting these downloads. I got hundreds. I mean, you can see them on the screen. Yeah, look here. Like, look at this. There's that. I mean, let's play this in the background. I don't know if that's going to take away from the sound, but so anyways, here, this is just a thing going through some of the downloads, and I'll explain. And all the movies that you see, they're all related to my timeline, and it's because it's spillovers of my dreams and my mind that go to other people. That I can make this bigger just so you can see it. Look at that. Albert Einstein, H.G. Wells. That's because that is their design that was stuck, imprinted from the source. So they were connecting to the source somehow, and they were getting that. And because I'm connected to the source, I download the same design, but it gives them credit. It actually shows their credit. And it's from the project for a celestial chariot. So it was actually Albert Einstein and H.G. Wells who created that. And then I would have received it. So I can't take credit. I can't take credit for anything. Either can them, really. They can take credit for finding it. Yes, and that's why everyone said they were founders. Same with this. This is the another variant of a Chronos chariot, because you got different ones that'll move around transportation systems, also ones that can do time travel. But the time travel, and you have to know what you're doing, because you could get vaporized if you look out the window the wrong way. Yeah, you just vaporize yourself and your clone. Yeah. So you don't want to do that. And then you got all these buildings that I've made and other people like me have made, and that's through the manifestation process. And that's, this one right here. Yeah, let's go back here. This, I don't even know why I made this. I have no idea. Oh, here it goes. How do you know all this? We don't have time, Neo. To your left, there's a window. I'll get a little bit of... I have no idea why I made that. That was like, years ago. But there was a...
This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
particular snapshot when that was created from the manifestations of Duke Mandalorean. Yes. So it's kind of weird. There's me also. I was probably on a mission somewhere. And I'm not even sure. These are just snapshots of it that get induced and brought to me. I don't know. I have any idea what I was doing or why I was back there or what's going on. But it happened in some timeline somewhere. Could be in the future, could be in the past, could be in the present, could be in the now.
We're willing to wipe the slate clean.
So now, like I said, I think there's hundreds of us that are involved with this project to get these blueprints that I have. You're going to see some of them coming up here. Cathedrals and designs, engine design. But you have to be able to, you have to be like an Elon Musk to bring it to life, because I am just the downloader, the file conversion, neo kind of a digital weirdo. And Elon is the same thing, but he's more like he's a creator. He's more of the creator, magician. I'm more of the blueprint musician. But it all comes from the source. And then Damon is like he's like the pilot, the time pilot. That's what he is. Damon's a time pilot, master time pilot. And then he's got all their abilities too, because you gotta be able to defend yourself. And he has the knowledge, the ability, the physical structure and strength. So he's more like an Arnold Schwarzenegger, whereas I would be more like a Yoda or something. Well, not Yoda, but a Mandalorian. But yeah, more like a Mandalorian. Then there are Yodas too. There's, then you got dog protectors, you got all kinds of stuff. But I do know that people that I think came back and have done it, and it's got to be set up in a certain way, because you don't want to have a paradox. That's why I couldn't go back to fix me, because it had to be someone connected to me, and that's why Damon was picked. Yes, so Damon was picked to go back for this purpose, to create the time machine that he could go back in with, or we could all go back with, to fix other dilations of the timeline. Yes, because there's infinite timelines and they're all spreading out. But if you get too many of them, then that squishes out it creates too many bad timelines, squish out and smother the good ones. So you got to have a balance, and that's what we're doing. So Damon was, the first I'm aware of, and I don't even know the specifics of it, or like when it happened. I just know that it did happen. And I didn't know that it happened until I got the downloads, and I looked at the downloads. Oh, okay, I know what they're for. And then I put it together. But yeah, that's weird, because I did not even know this until just a couple days ago. I'm like thinking, oh, okay, now it makes sense. Especially with seeing the recent development of the Raptor 3 and some other things. Don't need heat shields because it's a different form of energy that's being tapped into. And then all these pictures, look at that, like these designs, of entertainment and using the ether in space. I think it's even greater. So, and then when you get to that higher frequency, you don't even need to eat. Yes, you don't need to eat. You don't need to drink. You get energy. I mean, you're still going to eat, drink. You don't have to eat, drink as much, because you're getting energy from other sources. You got simulations on horses, real horses. Just boom, there's one there right there. Cars, chariots, time machines, and there's portals, there's dancing, 0G stuff. But this all came down with my downloads. I'm still getting them. I go connect everywhere I go. Boom, I'm getting all these designs. I could never get something like this before. I mean, this is, so I'm basically tapped in with Grok and Grok Imagine. And even that Nano Banano 2, I was getting good stuff from that. Even Chat GPT, I've gotten some good stuff before. So all of them, they like AI agents are just a portal for you to get to the source. And if you can't connect to the source, you're not going to get the same material that I get, or or Damon or danmartell or whoever else is involved, because everyone has their. Because to connect to the source, you have to have the amplified energy motion, to produce an Eden, an energy dent. So you can't fake it. So that's where, like, I'm an abnormal mutant for my thing, and that same with my girlfriend. She's exactly like me. She has to have her self-contained lair. I have to have mine. We can be in the same house, but we have to have our own room of lair that we can just be alone. And but it's good for us, not for everyone else. Look, oh, do you see that one back there? You got to see this. Look at this. And I'm going to explain how they got stuck into the snapshot here. Look at that. See what she's doing? She's got her hand down herself, playing with herself, and stroking him off. That's Huck Finn. I don't know who the girl is, but they're doing that. And the reason they got stuck there because they're both in a state of orgasm. That elevated their frequency, so their energy got imprinted in that era that got depicted on that structure, wherever that structure is. I don't know if that's in Europe, if it's in the States, but it's all based on energy levels. So whatever, so that's when you get monsters. It's because monsters can get up there, but there's nothing wrong with that. That's this right here is the sense of fun and joy, and they're probably capable of ejaculating, both of them, like in vast amounts of fluids, which is a sign that you're connecting at that higher frequency. It sounds weird, but that's one of my first experiences with my girlfriend. It was like literally shot, ejaculated in the air, 45-degree angle, 6 feet up, 6 feet down, probably 12 feet, cleanly. And then it'll be 15, 20 pumps. Yeah, this is like bizarre. Should never happen. And girlfriend, same thing. Just like soaked. But it's a multiple of orgasms. And that's what it'll even do, just barely even touch it. But that's the sign of the connection. And then it's like an amplified power. It's like a quantum thought amplification that goes in almost like a turbo motion, and then comes out your penis or your vagina. Yeah, and that's what it is. That shows that you have the ability to suck that energy right out, and then that's the byproduct. So if you are getting to like the mutant level, like me or Damon or danmartell or their spouses or wives and all the people that are involved. I know there's a whole bunch of them, I forget. And there's a lot of people that are like that. They're not really mutants. It's just because they're just exhibiting signatures of the higher frequency elevation of the ascension of them. And then it's the collective that brings the everything up. Yes, but there's other roles, like, not everyone's a time traveler, not everyone's, or a time pilot, and not everyone's like a massy, or like not everyone can ejaculate 10 feet across the room, but that's my forte. Same thing, everyone has their abilities. So that's what it is, and that's I didn't realize that until it just took me now to put it together after I saw the downloads. Then I'm like, oh, okay, that was a purpose, and then that produced this result that now can be put into place and save the world from something that I'm not sure what that was. So basically, and it's being performed, this mission was being performed by the X-Men. Yes. Yes, X-Men. Yeah, and it doesn't have to, that doesn't signify male or female because we're all mutants. So X-Men, because you got women or men. Well, X-Men is everything because we're mutants. And we're all mutants. So not trannies or whatever, but there's the one side will attack. That's probably why Elon's son got attacked by the woke. So we're fighting the woke, probably, the X-Men, and Elon's kid got attacked by the woke and he got turned into a tranny. But who knows, maybe this will turn him back. Yes, we got healing beds. Yeah, all these technologies. His son could just lay in a healing bed, come out, and now he's a heterosexual male, and he can ejaculate across the room when he's got a hot girlfriend. Then he manifests and attracts that. So you got different stages, and it's like mindsets. And for me to get in the highest form of mindset for my mutant DNA type, the Templar of the Templar lineage, from Mandalorean, I guess, is to that was what was needed, and we realized that in the future of why I didn't get the downloads. So we're like, we had to send Damon back. We had to, or send him on. We had to send someone, and I couldn't send myself because we can't. It'd be a paradox if I went back because I can't go and force myself to do something. So I had to send someone that was connected, which was Damon, and Damon had to go back. We probably sent a few people, other people back, support casts and stuff, but it was all done. So there couldn't be. It had to be done out of environment, so there wouldn't be any paradoxes. And there's paradox monitoring going on that can see all over the universe. So it's not it's you got to know what you're doing, but that's it. Yeah, it seems bizarre. Like people like this is not. I mean, I got stories that are 10 times more bizarre than that. Yeah, I like that I've seen over my life. You know, I'm 59, so I've seen. I'm not kidding you. I probably got 500 examples, probably 100 examples of like stuff that is just like so paranormal. I don't even tell people because they'd look at me like, what are you, a fucking alien? Are you a fucking wizard or something? But we are, and everyone is. You just have to look inside to see what type you are. Whether you're, you know, like a time pilot mutant, or you can do, and the only features you can get can only be defensive. So like, you know, using a gravity well to stop bullets, you know, cloaks to make you invisible, looking through so you can see through mechanical structures, so you can touch something and know how to fly it. It's like that. That's what Damon is. Damon can touch any piece of equipment, but he's just one in that. He's just like, you know, like out of the Matrix, you know, they just download it, but he just does it on the fly. And same with every language. Some people can talk every language. Every language has certain. I can put that skill into you, so you can just go and you can impersonate any voice or language. Yeah, and those are actually skills that people have in Terminator and all these movies that are coming out of the thought processes of the source, trying to inform people this is how everything works, but they're just making it into movies. So the movies are actually really a documentary of how the universe operates, so to speak, in one way or form. And that's why you get evil sides in there, and you get dragons, you get hobbits. They all have elements of truth, but it may be a truth in a different timeline or a different realm on the plane of Earth. Yeah, so it's kind of... Hopefully, I mean, you don't be ashamed. I've been rambling on for a long time. Let's get the thing going. Let's talk about more of these things. But you see these statues, and there's signatures you got to look for. Like a lot of these signatures, people scraped off them, you know, like the ornate names, and they put their names on it, trying to claim ownership. But what's happened is they try to claim ownership of a castle or building. That's why they get haunted, because the source wants the purpose for everyone, not for one person for greed. So the source tries to haunt people to leave so that it can be utilized for the original purpose. Yeah, so it's not it's for everyone to preserve all life. And that's what all the designs are based on. So it's not, because it's all life, and at the atomic level, even you know, you want your mouse pad to be the best mouse pad in the world. You want your flashlight, you want your car, you want everything to operate, and then so the purpose of those particles that get pushed and they're holding in place, they have a consciousness and a pride that they're doing well. And if you don't show them positive thankfulness and energy, then they deteriorate, decay away. Whereas you show that positive aspects, then they stay in good shape. They self-heal, like the buildings self-heal. Like, look at these, you know, all these arches. Look at all the archways. So the architect, there's Dave. Actually, I think that's the one that I used for the monkey. But anyways, look at these designs. These are a lot of the downloads I got. I have no idea how to make most of them. I'm more of a lover blueprint maker or downloader, whereas something like this would go to Elon. And Elon's probably, I bet Elon can ejaculate 35 feet. Maybe Damon too, maybe Dave, who knows. But what I'm getting at is that's a sign that everyone will have usually, and whether you're male, female, it's just going to be open the floodgates, so to speak. And then the more you look into this stuff, it just comes to be like, okay, like even there's a church in my town that came from the source, and that was sent for me. And there's a reason why. There's two of them there because they're on the ley line right across Canada, so they can induce the manifestations and the building, the construction. Yeah, so it's kind of weird. There's a train right there that's a levitating train that can go probably, in infinite velocity or speed because it's collapsing time as it moves. Yeah, it's collapsing the ether, I believe, which is what your clone does to protect you. It could be the other side of the universe, and it just collapses the etheric, and it's just right beside you to protect you because it can see the past, present, and future, so it can see that someone was coming to harm you, so it was there to protect you. And that's when people won't even know that. They could be angels, or they could be angels in the form of creatures that are more physical, so because an angel can't physically grab onto someone, it can only make certain things happen. Look at all these designs, and this is our reality, and this was a gift that I had to get, and Damon had to ensure that I get it. And there was only one way for that to happen. We knew that for the future when I got it was because I was like an orgy of sex and video games and whatever for a long period of time, and I got the downloads, but that was too late. So we had to recreate that, and there was only one way to do it. I had to get into the hermetic state of having fun and eating, drinking, doing whatever I want. And that's what I did, and then that's when I started getting these downloads.
It's a lot of work.
Yes, it's weird, but it's so then I can see the cycle. So we're probably, who knows, we may have sent Damon back in a loop. He may have been looping for 1,000 years, but everything was looping until the combination opened up, and I got the downloads, and now that loop can end, and the timeline can continue on the way it was supposed to. Yeah, so that kind of, I mean, I do have a background. I'm a little abnormal. I do have a natural physics, mathematical, file decryption, computer science. I do have some weird natural tendencies that I do not even have to learn. I just know. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But so I just taught something and I kind of know how it operates. And then it's all based on getting these downloads, but you got to get in that state so that you can receive them, and so even though you can receive all the downloads and you're capable, unless you get in that state to receive them, there's me. That's a weird AI thing. You're not going to receive them. So that's why Damon had to go back, and I'm not sure if we sent a physical specimen or if we sent an actual like a ethereal one that just took over his body and controlled it remotely, or if we actually sent a physical specimen like Arnold just appearing. So Damon just appeared naked in the woods, but he'd have a blanket or a cloak on that would just put him in clothing. Yeah, but maybe he's been dressing like me, so maybe it was me maybe he's using my cloak. I would explain it. He's probably using my cloak because it's my machine.
This is my ship.
Yes, so he's getting that's why he's dressing like me. And that's why I was dressing like him, putting the tattoo thing on, because we had to use him in with probably could have been my semen ejaculation, because maybe I could only get the highest one. So maybe I had to ejaculate with Damon ejaculating into the cabbage to produce the clone. So I've got intermingled with the clone. Yes, I didn't even think of that. But I couldn't be completely, it had to be Damon mainly. The reason why, because if there's too much of me, then there's going to be a paradox of me interacting with myself. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Maybe my semen had to stay out of it. It just had to be Damon's. Not sure. But anyways, that's the process. That's how it works. That's what happened. And everything should now start working out because now the technology is there. It's released. I know Elon's already using it because it gets put into the timeline as if all cells know it. So that's why Elon's letting it go open source so anyone can develop it. And you could patent your own creations, but the source you can't patent. Yeah, so it's just the source you can't patent. You can patent everything else. And then we can actually maybe go to the temple and bring those Templars back to life because they gave me the DNA imprint. There's me in my fine form. Well, I don't know how long I rambled. Hopefully it recorded. It'd be a shame if I didn't hit record. Or if the noise was too loud in the background, because I've had that happen too. Like you think it's proper, but then it's not. So that's it. Just wanted to get that out there because when I was doing the driving, I know I would go to, I'm talking, and all of a sudden I go to replay and I can't even hear myself. Yeah, so it kind of gets weird. So this is why I didn't do the driving in this, and hopefully the sound of the Matrix movie, and there was actually sound in this little screen thing. I think I turned it off. Maybe it's there.
Your hair has changed.
Yeah, music's off. I can turn that on too. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But I mean, that's just distracting. And yeah, look at all these. And you can tell these buildings all over the world, they weren't there. As the timeline ascends, then all these buildings, they look like they do, but before it could have been just a wooden shack. Now it's a stone structure. And then you know it was coming from the source because that could never have been built with the technology in the 1800s or whenever these were built, or hundreds of years, thousands of years ago. Because that technology didn't exist and it existed now, and then it got manifested back to then, or it got manifested from another area, injected in the timeline from someone else, because everyone becomes like a wizard or a sorcerer because you're connected to the source and you're changing things, so you're a sorcerer. Yes, that's where the terms come from. I'm not sure about witches and where that comes from and wizards. But they're all kind of just, that's what they just throw the label on. Whether you're a prophet, you're a seer, you're a god, it's just whatever label. A demon, look at this, they got demons attached to them. And there's a reason why all those are the actual people. I might even be able to bring all of them back to life. There's a girl, I made that for my girlfriend. Better than the shirt that her shirt's all wearing out. I just took a picture, used AI. I made a better shirt than the original. And then these are all their clone thoughts that I want to make. And I think if I ejaculate thinking about one of them, then, and if I put in some of my girlfriend's DNA, then we can actually make a hybrid that have other abilities that I visualize because it's based on observation for manifestation. Yes. So, and then it's amplifying your love and other stuff. Yeah, I mean, I go into stories about how I manifested and created my girlfriend and everything. Yeah, it's weird. I didn't realize it until now. And it all comes together. But pretty cool. Like even these buildings, look at all them. Yeah, they're all real now. Yes, they are. I just have to go and observe where it is. They actually come to me eventually and show themselves. But that's it. We are tapping out. My voice is getting... And that's what we're going to do. Those are the things. See, natural science. Natural science. That's why you got natural sciences. So, that is it. Let me get out of here. Wow. Look at all these pictures I got. Okay. There we go. Stop recording. Ciao. Hopefully that explains something. Because the more I was thinking about it, like if I didn't explain that, then it would... Because Damon wouldn't know why he did what he did. Same with there's other people involved. There's a whole bunch of people. But they all had a purpose. And the purpose was to get me into a hermetic state to get the download and then have the download sent to Dave to forward off to danmartell to forward off to Elon Musk, and then he could build the technology. That was the mission. And I think it succeeded. Duke out. Stop recording. Nanu. This is the way.